guys, we're back a little bit earlier than, or later, or whatever. We're back. Well, I'm back. So I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick, and the convention is pretty packed, so should probably be a few more moments. Man, I keep looking over that stage there. Everything there is so just awesome and packed. How can I slide over and take a selfie before like everything breaks on me? Like, I really want to just try and get like the stage area in this shot, but it's kind of hard with the angle I got. So, I mean, you can't isolate subject. Just take a picture of me, camera. Anyways, the challenger to the arena is going to be Sue. So it's going to be a ZVZ as Sue steps out to try and take on Dark. I don't actually think this is a terrible choice, but I think Sue, for him, realizes like, okay, yeah, if I just beat this one guy, then I beat Dream afterwards, and Sue just beat Beyond of all people in a TVZ Elima League Grand Final. So we know he's got the chops to take on Dream. There's no question about that. So all he's got to do really right now is focus on Dark, beat Dark, and move on to the next round. But we're going to be loading into the game. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the VSL. Why is that off now? These numbers are like, ridiculous. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's game number 5 in this best of 7, so we're getting close to the end of it. Rifkin casting here with Zombie Grub in spawning the bottom right side. Top left side, it's going to be Sue. Oh, pooling. Oh, pooling.
What even is coming out of your mouth right now?
He's pooling.
And in the bottom right.
He's the guy over there.
Not doing it. It is Dark.
Oh, yours timed out so nicely. I'm so jealous.
Right? Yeah, I made it work.
Okay, so what's great about this is, well, you know, it's 2-2, best of 7, all this stuff. Realistically, it's a best of 1 between the two players. So all Sue has to do is win this one game, knock Dark out, take Dream down, and collect all that free money. However, this early pull doesn't guarantee a victory. What it may do, though, is get him a small lead. Because there's no gas with it, these 6 links, you cancel a hatchery, maybe you pick off a couple of drones. But ideally, 6 links aren't going to win the game straight up.
If they do, Dark really messed up, and everyone should just point and laugh.
Yeah, well, there's that aspect of it, of course. But the more important one is just like, for Sue's moves, like this is meant to get him ahead, not win him the game, right?
The problem for Dark is not necessarily like that he will lose something, that he will lose drones, or that he will have his hatchery canceled. It's that he might overthink what's happening, because his overload hasn't gotten to Sue's base yet, right? He doesn't know that he's taking a hatchery quite yet. He will eventually. But he doesn't know that it's going to be followed up with Banelings, or speed, or both. And if he makes a spine crawler and like pulls the drones preemptively or something like that, then he just wasted time.
Yeah, it can be a real scary overreaction scenario. But just goes right past that hatchery, goes right to the main, finds a really sweet spot to try and get to that mineral line. Of course, for Dark pulling drones, he could lose a lot doing this. But all right, while the drones dance and the lings fight, this is kind of scary because Sue's not actually getting a lot of damage done.
No, I mean, it's mining time at this point, right? Which is not bad. And in fact, the fact that he like followed up with more lings is a little bit scary. Dark was kind of like on the edge.
Oh, look at that ling micro though. He pulls back the 2 red ones. Cherries for health, tries to surround, trying to take a good fight. Sue's micro right now is so good.
Oh yeah, it's good. But this is actually kind of surprising that he followed up with more lings. I think it was a little bit surprising for Dark as well, who really thought that he had it in the bag, basically just waiting for his queens, I think. So he had to make lings. It was a little scary too, because the queens still weren't out, and what if like speed had kicked in? At this point, he knows what the build is, so he would have known that, but still, like, hypothetical, that would have been really scary. As it is, Dark just took mining time damage, had to make a couple of lings, but for the most part, it was like he was not over-defending at all. He was at risk of a little bit under-defending, but I think it was pretty good.
I do wonder how much minerals were lost through that, though. That was a lot of drones pulled for not just like a couple of seconds, but a fairly lengthy amount of time. We'll see that play out over the next few moments. Of course, as far as the workers count now, Sue's ahead, not from getting kills, but again, like Dark kind of getting choked out there.
Well, Dark goes for a Roach Warren, so he might just follow this with an all-in, which is kind of, it's brutal of him, basically. Like, I'm going to get the revenge.
I keep having these moments. I'm like, how do you see? There's no production to. Oh, right, it's at the bottom right.
Yeah, exactly. But that's going to be pretty. That's going to be pretty scary. Like, I think the last thing on your mind when you do this is that they're going to immediately attack you. Like, first thing on your mind is like, oh, they might have faster speed. So they might get like Lings here. And in that case, Frozen Temple, you just build a wall, like, it's no problem. I don't think you're thinking they're going to get Roaches too quickly, because the expense of this, like the risk of doing this and not working, is pretty damn big. So let's see if it works, basically. Like, Dark's getting the Roaches right now. He's getting quite a few. He got like Overlords, like a good supply. And he's got Lings, of course, reinforcing. Su, he does have a Roachborn on the way. It just is a question with, does he build Roaches?
Well, so what's interesting is Su's like Ling speed is really behind, which is going to suck.
Yeah, he sees it. Okay.
He's going to have a lot of Lings for cannon fodder. He's going to have even Spine Crawlers coming down. Shout out to Su for using the sick-looking Roaches, by the way. But this is still a problem where there's speed advantage for Dark. There's a numbers advantage temporarily for Dark. Like, if Su gets broken really early on, his production's not going to cover him.
This is dangerous. Really dangerous.
He's trying to buy time
Dark
for Spines, but they're so far out at this point.
Dark is a really good choice to do this, but he might just be able... I mean, he might be able to equalize, like do damage, like make it worth the attack, but Su might also hold. I mean, the Queen's doing a good job. The Spine Crawlers are going to finish.
There's going to be transfuses. I think he's got it. He's going to hold on to this position. But here's the problem. Now you've wasted a lot of money on 2 Spine Crawlers.
That's true. Like... Dark did commit a lot to do that. Like, he had to cut his drones early. Like, he's down 10 drones right here. He remakes them pretty quickly, but that still is, like, it's going to be effective. Like, I wish we had the graphs, right? But it's going to come into effect, and I do wonder where the game is right now. I think Su actually got a bit of a lead from defending against that, just because he had 10-plus drones for, like, 30, 40 seconds.
Right, and speaking of the drone count for the moment, like, look at the army count, too. Dark wasn't exactly able to get a lot going. Had Su gone for, like, some sort of immediate counterattack, which he's finally getting around to, that's a pretty big army difference.
Yeah.
So even his Ravagers, not Roaches, these are pretty squishy. They'll get picked off by the Lings when they come to this round. Overlord does die. That's going to be a supply block for Su. That's annoying, but I'm really curious what he can get done here.
Yeah. I mean, Dark, he put a lot of eggs in that attack basket, or whatever you want to say, and it didn't work. And what you would hope was that it at least made it worth it.
I think he's shopping at the same store and using that same basket.
Maybe, yeah. Exactly. I mean, he does get the Queens right off the bat, which is pretty nice, and the Lings are going to be able to hold back Dark's Roaches if he does want to retreat here, but he's pushing in. He's rallying forward.
He's really close to breaking the ramp. That Ravager in the Corsair Biles almost killing his own Overlord. Oh, he kills his own Overlord!
Whoops.
So now he's giving supply block, and this defense becomes immensely more difficult if you can't keep producing those Roaches. So Su might trade out evenly here, but he starts getting some drone kills. He's going to get a bit of an economic lead, and of course, let's not forget, the Queens still haven't been remade. They're still dead. Yeah,
this was a better story to tell than Dark's attack. Su, he might get pushed back here. He might have to make units to defend against the counterattack. But he's up in workers. He has that third base down and ready to go. He's had Queens the entire time, of course, too, so he's a larva to work with. And he's on his way to a lair. I mean, at this point, Dark, I think, just has to all in.
Yeah, I agree. He doesn't really have another option.
Yeah, he would have to wait for his third to finish, and he would have to get the drones to put on his third too.
It's third, it's macro, it's the fact that those 2 Queens still aren't done yet. He's going to go for the third, but I don't know that's the right choice. In fact, it's definitely not. Su's going to get a kill on that drone. If he doesn't, get a cancel on the hatchery.
Oh, it's even worse, man. Okay, he just cancel it.
And he gets both. All right, so this puts Dark in, before you were guessing, maybe I can macro, right? Maybe my opponent makes a mistake. No, with the third base getting shut down like that, that has to be the attack.
Yeah. There's just...
He's supply block still. That Overlord death earlier is still echoing right now.
Yeah. I mean, being behind on Roach speed isn't the worst thing in the world, and there are some builds where you simply are going to be. But it is still something to consider. Su has everything going for him. Workers, army, almost army actually, he's not quite, but also tech. So looking more to that +1, but also the micro ability of the Roach speed. He has Spine Crawlers, forgot about those, so Dark's counterattack wouldn't be doing very good.
I like that attempt to pull it away, a little bit slow, but still tries to get those extra hits. Corsair's going to land once again on the other Spine Crawl, and that time it's going to go down, but these Queens and the Roaches should easily push these back. There's not that many Roaches to buffer for Dark, so Dark has to be pushed back. Meanwhile, I think there's 1 Ling in the south, by the way, chipping away that third. It wasn't that big of a deal, but still probably putting those alerts up on the map.
Yeah. I mean, this game is basically over. Su is now up in army supply by about 20, and there's just no getting around that. There's no micro that Dark can really do unless literally clump under these Corsair Biles. Even then, I don't think it's enough damage. There's not enough Corsair Biles.
Big concave at the top of the ramp, too. Look at the worker count, too. 25 to 50, basically. Dark behind by half the workers. That's going to give him so little income to work with. There's just no way for him to keep up with Su's production. Yeah. The overall supply of the game, too, getting really out of hand. Look at the army, 76 to 40.
Yeah.
This game is so over. Like this, I feel like Su can't even make mistakes at this point. Su can like F2 a move to win.
Yeah, he would have to like not be attack moving basically, and like lose half of his
move
army.
command into the Ravagers on a ramp. He's like, excuse
exactly.
me, trying to get through. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's miming and like on camera, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys can't see. I was doing amazing. I was tunneling, clawing my way through Zombie Grove. There you go.
Yeah. So this should be the kill move. There's just too much. It's actually mostly Ravagers too for Dark, which are great for Corrosive Vials, but go down very quickly.
Right, and what I like about Su is he didn't really make that many of his own. Roaches are just the better fighters for a lot of these situations. The Ravagers have damage, they've got no health though.
Yeah. This is going to be game. Su now doubling the army supply. GG.
And
no, like quadrupling the army supply.
That might also just be the series. I mean, it's still one more game left, but they've got to put all of their hopes and dreams into Dream now. No pun intended.
You should have gone for the fun.
I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? So here's the question, right? You've got Dream is the last player available here in Busan. From what we've been told, Solar could still technically play from Germany, but I really think Dream in his worst condition on a stable ping is going to be better than Solar playing from Germany.
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, Dark, like, that game was actually, like, Dark had a good idea, I think, with a counterattack attempt. I think that Su just wasn't as greedy as he was hoping he was going to be. Yes, my mother.
Your mom's still tweeting at us. I love it. All right, well, guys, hopefully it won't be too long to figure out what the next matchup's going to be. We know it's Dream, and we know it's going to be Dream versus Su here, but map is on King Sejong. Okay, more normal maps.
Okay, so now back to the TVZ. Hopefully Dream has been working on his TVZ.